This mutation is called Doomsday Report, and it is being played on the Vermillion Problem. We have 3 mutators active. We have Propagators, we have Going Nuclear, and we have Orbital Strike. So we have Zeratul, and we have Tychus. We'll be going ahead and dealing with this mutation. Now, the reason why I chose this replay, you're gonna see why, but sometimes there's nothing more satisfying than giving Amon a taste of his own medicine. So, for those of you that did play this while this match was live, you will know what probably happens, given that there is a Zeratul commander here. But if not, you are in for a bit of a treat. Yeah, there we go. So let's have a look at the production right now. Both commanders are pretty much taking up as normal, and I believe that the commanders will be one-basing on this mutation. I'm not 100% sure what the plan is, but we're just gonna wait for the early game to proceed as normal. You can see that Zeratul has taken the Third Legion here, and the Third Legion is good when you want to try and deal with attack waves. If you are up against mechanical attack waves, so if you have Mech Terran or some Skytoss compositions as well, they're very useful for basically breaking the attackers and taking the high-tech units away from Amon's army, and this will significantly weaken the strength of these waves when you have to go ahead and engage. You see here that Zeratul is already bringing up a bunch of ambushers, and the first propagator will spawn at the 3 minutes and 30-second mark. And because propagators spawn from enemy buildings, they can spawn, from say the missile turret or whatever static defenses put over here, or they could spawn at the end of the map here from one of these, from one of the primary structures that are in this location. So the travel time for the propagators varies greatly. We can see here that Tychus is going to be going to deal. He's going to be dealing with the first propagator here, and he has his Crooked Sam. So Crooked Sam, there we go. So this propagator basically spawned from that primary structure here. It's going to be a while before this propagator gets into position. But Crooked Sam is a very good unit to deal with the propagators, because once he has his stun ability, he can actually stun the propagator, and basically the propagator will stand still, and the amount of damage that the propagator takes almost one-shots it, or I think it does one-shot, I can't remember exactly. But there we go. Tychus with his Share Grenade over here deals with these zealots, and now we have a bunch of crystals that need to be picked up by these commanders. The worker that is going to be picking up this crystal will have to be aware that there is a propagator on the way, so they'll have to be a little bit quicker. But yeah, Zeratul has picked up a second artifact fragment and decides to go back to the base here. So both these commanders are going to be one-basing on this mission for the time being. So a probe gets sent over here and pick up the this crystal. The one thing you do have to note though is the Going Nuclear mutator does try and target your units. So the positioning for the areas where these things are going to hit, it's not random. It actually favors where your units are, so you have to actually viably pay attention here. So Crooked Sam is in position. He has a stun grenade, DPS down the propagator, and he ends up killing it. I think before the Share Grenade goes off, even, or the Share Grenade, the stun from Crooked Sam, demolition charge goes off. We have here Zeratul has already gotten the Tesseract Monolith. You have to see you have to be a little bit careful, because there are zones where this thing can actually hit and still deal damage. But Zeratul is getting ready for the next attack wave, which is the drop attack that spawns in this mission. Now we have another propagator that's coming up here, and again, Tychus is just going to be one-basing. So far, so good. And there we go. Crooked Sam goes ahead to engage. Runs out of the way. He's not really interested in dealing with that, and that pretty much one-shots the propagator over there. Zeratul jumps in now to go ahead and deal with this attack wave. Zealot gets roasted by the lava, which is one other thing to also note. It is kind of fun to do. If you are able to damage the drop attacks before they land in your base, they will actually unload into the lava, and it will end up killing the units off. The one thing to do note though is, see here, the propagator does not take damage. Any mutator unit, I think, does not take damage. I'm not really sure about Walking Infested or the Outbreak. But I do know Killbots and the Propagators and Void Reanimators, they do not take damage from the lava, so that's something to also take into consideration. We go ahead and deal with this. So Zeratul is over here now. He's just going to go and he wants to go ahead and collect these 2 crystals. So we need to clean up the enemy defenses on this side. So he's going to end up clearing this out. Tychus has also ended up clearing. Unfortunately, the Reaper does end up getting nuked by the going nuclear mutator. So these ambushers over here, they're just defending at the moment. They are not going to be moving. Because remember, this is a game with an interesting thing that happens. So this is why the commanders are very lethargic and not really interested in actively pursuing this. So these probes actually might get into position where they might get eaten by a void reanimate by a propagator. So they will have to be a little bit careful. A little bit of micro also required. Now the propagator is getting into position, but it decides to walk past the probe, and now there are 2 propagators on the way, which is going to be a bit of a problem. But Tychus is in position already. Drops first demolition charge, and drops the second demolition charge, and that is being dealt with. Over here, Zeratul already is dealing with this attack wave, decides to blink back, and he's able to clean up this attack wave now because the ambushers deal a lot of damage on their blink, and all is good now. And now the last artifact fragment has been spawned for Zeratul, so Zeratul is going to go ahead and try and get this artifact fragment using a little bit of the waypoint trick just to try and get this. Void Seeker. And now Zeratul is going to end up having all 3 of his artifact fragments in location, and he's good to go. Again, not interested in clearing this, and now the next propagator has spawned. And yeah, there we go. So Zeratul is going to make his way back to the base. And what Zeratul has added now is a bunch of shield guards. So he's going to be creating a bunch of shield guards in preparation for this propagator. And we will see what happens there. So he has a bunch of shield guards, a bunch of ambushers, and now he's good to go. He has all 3 artifact fragments. He hasn't selected the next ability, but we'll see in a moment why. He's going for the Avatar of Essence, which is okay. So Propagator is now making its way inside. And now there's another Propagator that has also spawned. So Propagator decides to climb up this ramp, does get slowed down, and now the shield guards have created their barrier over here. And what happened? What has happened over there? This Propagator has stopped moving. In fact, it is now Zeratul's Propagator, because at the time of this patch there exists a bug where a Propagator's attack is actually not a melee attack, it's actually a very, very small projectile attack. So that is the first thing you have to note, is that the Propagator doesn't actually deal melee damage. It deals, so there we go, Propagator engagement. Now the Propagator gets stolen over here, and now this Propagator is going to move into this base and start wreaking a lot of havoc here for Zeratul. So the one thing you have to note is a Propagator's attack is actually a small projectile attack, so that's the first thing. And there exists a bug with Zeratul's shield guards where the shield guards can actually, because they're able to reflect damage, what they can do is they can reflect the projectile attack from the Propagators that Amon sends. And because that happens, the Propagator ends up getting propagated by Zeratul, and now it gets turned over to Zeratul's side. So over here, what's happening now is just Zeratul is just completely wiping Amon. Even more proof that Zeratul is OP. So this is actually kind of amusing. The one thing, unfortunately, is that the minimap pings are. The minimap pings do not get removed when a Propagator does get propagated. So that is one thing to also note. So you can still get ninja'd by a Propagator if you are not paying attention. So for example, like this one is an actual Propagator that's moving through the base here. So that is something else to take into consideration. But other than that, for the most part, these Propagators are just going to end up wiping everything. And it just goes to show you how strong like a Propagator is. Like, there's nothing the Amon can do to stop this now. Like, it doesn't matter if he has a hybrid Dominator. There's no amount of damage output that any of these units are able to do that can help Amon just survive this onslaught of just karmic justice. So there's a Propagator that's working up its way over here. Demolition charge does come up, but overall all okay now. There's a huge attack wave, but there's a blink here from Zeratul's ambushers that ends up cleaning up that side. Over here, Propagators are just ending. They've just been given an attack command, and they're just gonna start wiping pretty much everything over there. And yeah, there we go. That is pretty much game over for Amon, as his entire bases are getting ravaged by the units that he seems to be getting. So again, there's a propagator on this side now. I don't think the commanders have noticed, and it is making its way up here. There is a bit of a stun, but this stun is just going to slow down these propagators, and now is going to eat up Zeratul's Tesseract Monolith, and 2 more of Tychus's units are getting stolen over there. A few more demolition charges, but Tychus decides to jump a little bit too close to these propagators, and Zeratul now goes in to help. Blink up from Zeratul. Zeratul does get hit by the propagator, but he ends up wiping that side, which is exactly the thing I was talking about. Is sometimes because of the minimap pings, it's not very clear which propagators are real and which propagators are not. So these propagators are just working away on clearing these enemy structures, because once these enemy structures are cleared, the other propagators will stop spawning, and now there's another propagator on this side. And Zeratul is already in position. Got this blink forward, end up killing that part out. Again, a few more structures here. This side has been cleared, and a few more on this side as well. And now there are 2 propagators working their way towards base on this part of the map. Again, blink from Zeratul's propagator, from Zeratul's ambushers, and so there's that side out. And yeah, as soon as these enemy structures are gone, that will basically be it. There will be nothing left. There will be no more propagators spawning. And nuke goes down on these propagators, but guess what? There's more and more and more, and this is basically the end of this island here. I think the only last part is this area here, and this area is just getting completely ravaged by Zeratul's propagators. And that is pretty much the side done. And I think now the entire map has been cleared. This was basically one of the easiest weekly mutations that has ever been played. As long as this bug exists. This is the other thing to also note. So there we go. This is basically the entire map cleared. Now it's just this is now just a formality of going ahead and picking up these crystals as they are spawning. So I just want to talk a little bit about the orbital strikes that are occurring on the map. Notice how these orbital strikes are, again, not placed randomly around the minimap. They are actually they are targeting various areas over here. There are a few more units on this side that Zeratul has not gotten, but these propagators have been given a job, and they intend on doing it. So they're just going to walk over here, wipe out the remaining stalkers that are left. But you will notice, it's really difficult to find the orbital strikes when you have units all over the map. But you will notice that they do try and target these propagators over here. So that probe was moved out of the way to help keep it alive. There will be a few more attack waves that have been sent, but again, there's pretty much nothing these attack waves can do against a few propagators. Who would win? A few chargy boys or a few pokey boys? There we go. These propagators just end up completely wiping that harass wave here. And now there's another attack wave, but there are propagators underneath it, so the attack wave warps on top of these propagators. And there we go. This attack wave is pretty much completely gone right now. And yeah, there's just a bunch of dudes sitting over here. So it's just basically now a matter of spawn camping. So you'll notice that there are some propagators into this enemy base as well here, because this is a spawn point for some of the harass waves. And this is also a spawn point here for some of this harass wave. And I think Molten Cell, I wonder if Molten Cell will also, I don't know if Molten Cell has been picked off by the propagator yet, but it's very likely going to happen right now. And as you can see, Zeratul just doesn't really need any of his other abilities. This mission has basically been YouTubed right now. No more propagators are spawning. But yeah, there we go. See how these things are targeting the propagators? It's very, very normal for these mutators. Like every single mutator that's environmental, that deals damage, these mutators will target your units. That is what that is what the goal is. Propagators are going to end up getting roasted. Not really much of a problem. The cell will be coming out now. These propagators are waiting to devour him as well. So we'll see what happens over there. And yeah, the environmental stabilizer is at 75% right now. No attack command onto these propagators over here. End up dealing a little bit of damage, but Tychus ends up wiping that out very, very quickly. And yeah, it's basically waiting for this mission to finish. The next set of crystals should be spawning on this side, I think. Yeah, there we go. So there'll be another attack wave that'll be dropped here. And goes the Propagator. And Propagators are going to end up wiping all this army forces that have been spawned. And there we go. Sentries are trying to save themselves by using the shield here, the force field ability. Fortunately, they don't really stand a chance. And yeah, Tychus just chilling in the base. Zeratul just chilling in the base here. Not even supply cap. Not really doing anything. And who said one basing was bad? One basing is a perfect strategy when you have so much. Unfortunately, some of these units did end up getting killed off by the nuke. There's another drop attack on this side. Again, didn't really stand a chance against the Propagators. They're all parked underneath. Little nuke on this side as well. Now, this is basically a formality. The other thing you also note is that the nukes do target your workers. So one of the annoying things about this mutation was you normally you'll pick up some crystals and then a nuke will be spawned on top of this area here, and you'll end up losing your worker because you're not really paying attention. But that was basically the hardest part of this mutation, just paying attention to your workers. The strategy in this mission was basically hold off until Zeratul gets his third artifact fragment. Once he gets the damage reflect from his shield guards, it's very, very straightforward. And that is the environmental stabilizer saved, and there's the Viridia Prime also saved. But it has been covered by Propagators, and that is GG.